the first thing that Oren's going to want to do is go to the house with your trade caravan, catch up with them, and not necessarily kill everybody, but like neutralize the guards and interrogate all of your caravan masters and find out the poisons used and get whatever evidence you can. So that's step one. Is that something that we can go ahead and do?
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
so we're just going to have to do totally theater of the mind. We don't have access
I'm
to the
fine with
table. So I've got my notes. You've got your character sheets. So let's see. We've got situation with the caravan. Sabotage. House Wavier. Alright, so having returned to Tyr, you return to your Kank farm, your manor house.
Yes.
Your people inform you that there has been sabotage. A bunch of your Kanks have been dropping dead. They've asked around, and there was a rumor that there was a Wavier caravan lurking nearby when it happened that night. The Wavier caravan went into town, so you would like to investigate in town, so we're going to need an investigate roll, which we can do in the chat here.
Okay. Is that you roll? I don't know how the code for this.
Slash R, I think, does it. Let's see, 1d20.
R20.
No, hang on. It's exclamation point 1d20. No. 1d20. No. Damn, what was it? Huh.
It's exclamation and then space one exclamation roll and then space and then whatever the dice rolls are doing.
God. All right, that's hard to remember.
Okay. Okay. So for me, that is going to be investigate. 26 is my minimum roll.
Nice. All right, so Oren goes into town. Oh, hang on, I'm getting an echo. 1 second.
Can I throw a dice at that?
All right, fixed.
Plus 6 more, so 32.
32. Oh man. I need to get my dice out too. That'll help. I don't like rolling in the Discord so much. I roll my dice in secret like a bad DM.
Well, you've got a DM screen for a reason.
I've never liked that, like the secrecy. If we had the table open, I would roll things publicly most of the time. But it's just more convenient to do it on my table here. Okay.
Maybe Ninja, if you want, I don't know, but put that as a pin message or something so people remember what the thing is.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. That works just fine. You can add all the bonuses and stuff in there. Okay, so with the 32, you're going to go into town and you're going to investigate. And so you're going to be successful. You do track down where the Wavier caravan was headed to. You're going to find that they went to one of the storage areas. Bringing up a list I have prepared here. So you're going to run into
write this down.
an NPC that you've met previously. Let's see. Master Syntha. Master Syntha is in this area here, and he's managing his warehouses. You can see there are many merchant caravans that are moving in or out of his warehouses, and he'd be the man to talk to. So in your investigation, you approach Master Syntha in search of the Wavir caravan. You want to know where they've gone, and he's the only man who can tell you.
Okay, so Master Syntha is a person who works for Tyr, who kind of manages the coming and going of different caravans, you're saying, right?
Yeah, he's actually one of the counselors. So every couple weeks, he attends the royal council meeting of King Tithian. So you can sometimes see him there, speaking for the people that run this district here, the merchants' district. Master Syntha owns most of the warehouses, and so he's just sort of overseeing his workers. There are porters moving cargo all over the place. And there are various merchants paying taxes to Templars, moving around, delivering their cargo to the different shops that are up and down the main caravan way.
Okay. Master Syntha, I must speak with you. Very urgent matter. I know that you're a very busy man, but I need a moment of your time.
Yes, how can I help?
There was a merchant caravan that just passed through here. They say it's from House Wavir. I have reason to believe that a crime was committed against my ranch, and I need to know where they went.
Ah, those scoundrels. Always up to no good. I'll see if I can help you out. He's going to call over some of his porters and ask about what they saw when they were unloading the cargo. He brings over a heavy-set dwarf with large muscular arms, and his memory's kind of foggy. He's got a taller human friend who's balding, and he seems to have a better memory of what happened. He was kind of busy that day, so he didn't pay too much attention, but he thinks that they said that they were going to go to one of the taverns in town.
I remember we had that map of Tyr, and there were 3 main taverns that people went to. There was the Nobles District one, the Commoners, and then one other.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up the map right now. I have the book open. I'm just scrolling through it to find the map section.
Do I get the sense from Master Syntha that coin needs to lubricate this discussion? Or if this is all based on honor, and I'm going to go ahead and pay him anyway?
No. Master Syntha's a bit of a bastard, and he's had dealings with House Wavir in the past, and well, let's see, how do I phrase this? He'll tell you about how much he dislikes them, and so he'll do this just as a favor to you if you're going to go after those bastards, because he dislikes them. He'll take their coin because they're a merchant house, but they have shorted him on numerous occasions. They've damaged his property a couple times with their skirmishing. So anyway,
we haven't come in once again, so we're getting along smashingly.
He tells you they have gone to the rat's nest. A fitting hole for those rats.
Hello, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hey, welcome back.
Okay.
I'll appreciate him for his trouble, and this is a person I should have a more than just an acquaintance relationship with, I feel. So I'm going to inquire what other things he likes. I don't know, finer things, good drink, good women. I don't know.
Good boys.
The voice could be. Yeah. I mean, this is Dark Sun, so I know that, you know.
He's going to shoo you away. He's going to say, I've got no time for this. I am a man of business. I have coin to make. I have business to oversee. And these porters are being lazy. And he's going to storm off in the direction of some of his men who are laying against the wall, not even moving their boxes, just stretching and yawning against the wall, their packages strewn about, uncarried.
Okay.
So he's shouting at them now.
Okay, well, I'll take my leave then. Do I get the sense that you said he is a bastard, but okay, the way he's portrayed here is very honorable and like, no, I've got my business. This is all above board type stuff. I don't know. Am I getting the wrong impression?
He seems to be running a lawful business. He makes a lot of money, but anything that disrupts his trade or damages his property offends him quite a bit. And he's a big, tough, thuggish man, so he's kind of intimidating to his workers. Yeah, they're not slaves anymore, but he's a counselor, and he definitely treats them a little bit like they're beneath him. Because they are. He's very, very wealthy.
That's normal. That's somewhat reasonable for this situation.
So when I say he's a bastard, he's just working his laborers hard and shouting a lot. And he's throwing House Wavir under the bus, even though he does business with them. So.
Okay. Well, that's good enough for me. I'll just make a mental note to treat him favorably as much as I can. I'm going to write all this down. I need to go to the rat's nest.
Yeah. So you're headed towards the Elven Market and then down through there to the... What is it? The Shadow Square where all the bars are at. I'm trying to think how you come in. Do you park your airship in the top of the pyramid, right?
Airship.
No, I'm just thinking like when you arrive in town, you park at the pyramids. That would be sort of
That's
your base of operations, right?
My base of operations was to the south of Tyr with the ranch. It was actually outside of the castle walls because that's where we can find enough space to have the ranch.
I'm just thinking you can get there a couple different ways. Do you want to go through the Elven Market, or do you want to pass through the Arena District, which is also a marketplace?
I like the elves, so I would go through the Elven District.
All right. So the way you get there is you enter the main gate, you move up Caravan Way, the Serpentine Main Road, and that's going to pass all the merchant houses, which you hate. But then it enters into the Elven Marketplace, and so you move through the Elven Marketplace, and then that's going to take you through a lot of the back streets. You can see the real street life of Tyr. There's a lot of little street urchin kids running around. There's dwarves that are going about their business. There's a few nobles here and there that are talking to the various merchants at the stands that are hawking their wares, and eventually you're going to get to like the worst part of the bar scene in Tyr. You get to the Rat's Nest, which is the seediest bar in town for the absolute scum of the earth. You can see that there's a bunch of nasty-looking half-giants standing around the front door, obviously bouncers. They're watching for any trouble. They've got some scars on their arms and legs. There's a few people wearing hooded cloaks, their features concealed. They're sort of lurking in the nearby alleys. You can hear the sound of music coming from inside, but it's somewhat discordant, as if the person playing it might be drunk.
Yeah.
There's the sound of some rowdiness inside. Are you going to step into the Rat's Nest?
I sure am.
All right, you approach the front, and the two half-giants are going to step in front of you, and they're going to look down at you. One of them's going to look over at his friend, and he's going to say, "Ain't you seen this one?" The other one says, "Oh, I think he's important. Look at his clothing." And then the first one says, "I don't know. You got coin?"
I look up at them and smile and say, I absolutely do. I'll pass them a silver. Is this the cover charge?
The half giant bites your coin to see if it's real silver, and then nods and says, "Indeed, it is. Go right on in, my noble friend."
I'm gonna mark that off. And okay. Get my
Oh boy, interesting. Okay, roll an insight.
Can I pass off maybe another at least one more silver to different urchins and beggars and things?
Can you roll me an insight real quick?
Oh yes, that goes. I go. Roll 1d20. Now that's going to be a straight 6. Not going to get much on that.
Okay.
I'm not a good sense of people, apparently.
Sorry, making a note. Okay, so you step inside.
Oh, I feel betrayed when I finally see their actions.
All right, you're in the rat's nest. It's a dimly lit bar. There's a whole bunch of people that are drinking. There's a whole bunch of people that are gambling. So it's sort of broken up into a couple of groups. And then there's also that bard who has obviously had too many drinks. He's like laying down and he's sort of like screaming his lines, and he's got a backup lutist who's strumming his chords. But the singer, he's not hitting his notes quite right.
I don't think I'm gonna get much out of the bard right now.
He screams something about being a lizard king.
That's interesting. Sort of. I'm gonna see if I can pull the bartender aside. I know that he's probably busy, but I'll make it worth his while.
All right.
So I will actually pass him, let's see, a silver for now. Just across. Can I speak with you in private?
Certainly, sir. What can I do for you?
So I'll step behind the bar and talk with him and say, my name is, hold on. Orin Cyrillus, that's right. Sorry, I had to double check my notes here. Orin Cyrillus, you may have heard of me. Tank Rancher south of Tyr, and we work with King Tithian and so. But I have something, hopefully you can help me out. I was told that a Wavir caravan group came into here not 2 days ago. Was it a day ago or 2 days ago it was at this point?
It was the previous night. It just happened.
Previous night. So just last night. What I need to know is, did they talk about where they were going next? Because they have wronged me. They have attacked my Kanks, and I need to find out where they went to next.
Mm.
If you can help me, I will make it worth your while.
I might be able to help you out. However, it won't come cheap, this information.
Well, we'll see if the information works.
Ah,
And if it does,
the trick is, the only one who knows the information you seek is the gambler. He gambled with him all throughout the night. They might have spilled some information that you seek.
I'm a terrible gambler. This is going to be quite expensive. Let's see. For that, I'll pass him another silver, so I'm down 4 so far for the night. Okay. I thank you, and I tip my brow. I don't really have a turban on. What do I have on my head? If I have a hat. Either way, I do a curt little bow and take my leave and go find myself at the gambling table.
All right.
What are they playing? Is it something like a card game?
Yes, they're playing a variant of poker. It has a bunch of clay tablets that have markings on them. You know, a variant of poker, not totally 1-to-1. Maybe it doesn't have the same number of suits, the same number of cards, but the same concept.
The same concept. That's what I need enough to go on. I walk up there stridently, and I grab a stool from somewhere and settle up to the table. What's the buy-in?
All right. The gambler's a high roller, and so he says, a gold.
I slap a gold down. Okay.
All right. You join the gambling table. Sitting around the table, there is the gambler. I need some tea too. The gambler's well known around the Rat's Nest. He gambles here every day.
Sure does pretty well for himself.
Yes.
These drunks. I'm going to do my very best. I have a good perception, but what goes I'll try to see how I can do here and not lose too much money. I'm going to keep it like tame. I'm going to try and keep this to 10 gold to try and get what I want out of him.
All right.
Okay. Because 10 gold is still a lot of money.
Yeah. That's like 1,000 ceramic pieces.
Right. After we play around and another round, and maybe I'll buy a round of drinks for the table.
All right.
I say, so, it seems like you're doing very well here for yourself. My name is Oren Serverless. I was hoping you might be able to help me out. There was some people who were gambling here at this table last night. Some merchants.
All right. He's not gonna listen to your chitter chatter until you've played a hand. So he needs you to do a.
I've played a couple of hands by now. We've got a roll for it. We can roll.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He needs a roll. So let's do a gambling roll. Oh my god. Nat 20.
Yeah. Take my money. How much is so like 2
Well,
gold pieces so far?
It was 1 gold for that initial one, right?
Right.
Okay, so there are several other gamblers around the table, and you'll see that some of them are bluffing, and other ones are not. So you might be able to tell if they're bluffing or not before making the gambling roll. It might give you an advantage.
Okay. So by noticing the people and perceptions of them, maybe.
It would probably be an insight.
I do not have a skill in insight.
Yeah, it's a hard one, but you can roll it before you do the gambling roll. Do you have a bonus on the gambling roll? Like a
What is gambling?
It's a
Intelligence or
gambling tool, like a gambling tool skill.
is there a is there a ability with it? Charisma.
Probably intelligence.
Yeah, it'd be intelligence.
Or, yeah, insight is wisdom, actually.
Insight is wisdom. You could roll that too, but the card roll itself would be intelligence.
Okay, that gives me a bonus of +4.
Okay.
So here I go. That's yeah. Okay, that's a 6.
All
That's
right.
not gonna do it.
All right. So you lost a second gold coin.
Okay, marking it down.
Alright, everybody.
Pneumonia again.
Hmm.
Alright, I forgot about that.
Never really went away the first time, I guess, after the antibiotic the first time. But anyway, sorry. I'm gonna try and mute myself a little better. So 2 gold pieces down. Lost 2 hands. I'll spend another gold buying a round. Maybe that's a round for the whole bar.
All right.
I don't know if a gold piece does that, but probably does.
Oh yeah, definitely. A drink is probably quite a bit less than that. It's like 100 ceramic pieces. You could buy 10 drinks for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. At this point, I'm going to start popping my question. And I introduce myself, and I ask if he overheard where those merchants... I heard that you were playing with some merchants last night. I need to speak with them. Did you happen to hear where they went?
All right. The gambler, having taken some of your money,
A good amount, yeah.
has grown to like you a little bit. We haven't had a new gambler in here in a while. I've beaten all these others so many times. Tell you what,
Add me to the list.
if you can win the next hand, I'll give you your information.
I clutch my heart. I
Did-
clutch my heart.
Do you want to roll that insight to see if he's bluffing this time?
Slump back in the seat. I will try. I'm gonna blow a dice at this.
All right.
Oh wait, Jesus Christ. Wait a minute. How many? Oh. So does it keep on putting the same thing down? Oh, so I just look at the last number on the list then. Okay, so 18. Insight plus 4. No, insight plus 0. But I'm going to also add... Uh, 9 to that. So 27 is
Ooh.
my final answer for the insight.
Okay. So this gives you advantage on the gambling roll because you can tell if he's bluffing or not.
Okay.
So now make your gambling roll. Intelligence based.
Okay. Did it just do... It rolled twice. A 9 and a 7?
It looks like a D10 was rolled in there somewhere.
No, that's the... Yes, okay. No, so it's a 7. So now I roll this again. There we go, a 19. So to get the 19, and then I'm going to use a dice on that as well. That's my 4th dice I've used today.
All right. Using all your psychic tricks to win this gambling hand.
I'm trying... Oh, there we go. So 28.
All right. You win back one of your gold,
Okay.
and you'll get your information.
When the chips fall down where I need them,
Yeah.
that's when it pulls in.
All right. The gambler tells you that he overheard some of the House Wavir caravan guardsmen saying that their envoy from House Wavir was here to see somebody important, possibly a senator. They didn't name him, but they said he was a senator. Now, we don't have senators anymore, but some of the senators do like to still call themselves senator. Some of the old and powerful senators from Calyx days, they still like the title. Others that are, more modern, they prefer lord or lady, like that fine Asticles fellow that makes the good wine. All right. Does that help?
Uh,
You already had your suspicions of which one was behind it.
I know that I already know that they met with Senator Turex, but they didn't say which way they were going. But they went there afterwards. They weren't. They don't know what direction they were leading from Tyr.
Okay, so Senator Turax met with them somewhere in the city here, in the Noble District. They were going to the School of Thought. So you might try asking some people there.
Okay. I will just do that. I tip my hat and wave to everybody else in the room. Have a great night, everyone. And probably cheer out for the free drinks. And I head off into the night. At this point, it's the night, so School of Thought. Well, is it night? If it's a bar?
It would be in the afternoon. It hasn't become nighttime just yet. There's probably a lot of red on the horizon. Alright, so you want to go to the Noble District?
Yes.
Alright, so you head up through the Noble District and you're going to go to the School of Thought. And the School of Thought is where the nobility has their children trained in the psychic ways. So you're going to see a bunch of kids bending spoons all over the place. Little bald children saying, "There is no spoon."
Yeah.
Levitating in place and whatnot. The headmistress, Lady Chessia, is nearby. Do you wish to go speak to her?
Yes.
Alright. You meet with Lady Chessia. She is also a counselor. Is the foremost scion in town. She's got quite the aura. So just being near her, she's sort of like warping reality around her using all of her psionic abilities.
Okay. I ask for an audience with Lady Chessia, and when I meet her, I bow low.
Okay.
And greetings. I am so glad I was able to catch you before you went home for the night. I'm hoping you can help me with solving a crime.
Initially, she's got a look of disgust on her face as you approach her.
I mean, I am a scion, sort of, side knife.
True.
I don't know if that's why she's disgusted with me, but
She's going to comment on your dress. She's going to say, "Couldn't you have at least stopped for a bath before you came into the Noble District?"
I'm sorry, that comes with the territory. You know, when we are running around saving Tyr, or in my case, saving my family, you know, going to the ranch.
You've probably got quite a lot of interesting, like, road dust and monster gore just all over your gear. You were probably scuffed right now.
Oh, yeah.
You fit in great in the rat's nest, but you're in the Noble District now, and it's definitely offending some noses.
Pardon me. Let me take it. Give me a moment. I go over to the side and prestidigitation myself. Hopefully not quite in ice, because she's gonna hate the use of actual magic.
Hmm.
But I clean myself up.
All right.
There.
All right. You return after cleaning yourself up. She nods. Better. I can tell you're a scion. Have you communicated before, you and Lady Chessie? I don't know if you have.
I don't remember. Yeah.
But she'll detect right away that you have the gift. And
Yeah.
she's going to,
Telepathically talk to me.
well, I mean, she could do that, but initially she's trying to gauge how powerful you are. She can't quite get a good feel for it, so just out of curiosity, she's going to ask you some questions to gauge your ability to see what you can do.
Okay. Does this help me gain your favor?
It might. I mean, if a lady asks you questions, especially if she's powerful politician like Lady Chessia, you might want to answer whatever question she has. It would be polite.
So I'm answering these. I'm answering these questions, but then I asked that one at some point. Is this to help me gain your favor and your help? Okay, then I continue to answer these questions. What I can do, and so I am not a scion trained in the normal sense. I've picked up some things from here, some things from there, but then I've made it my own. See here, whack, and I throw a side knife into a wall.
Okay.
And,
She nods.
I'll blow a dice, and I'll this is my 5th dice, half my power for the day used, and I will connect with her and speak with her telepathically.
All right. Well, as a teacher, she's disappointed that you followed the path of martial combat rather than the path of the mind, the pure mind.
Purist. Yes.
But
I didn't have,
she appreciates your skill level. So, as an instructor of the mind, she has greater respect for you based on your skill level, even though you don't appear to be, of noble blood. But you do have a lot of money. You do have a lot of money, but you don't flaunt it. So she doesn't see you wearing fancy noble clothing here.
What are you doing? Conserving resources? Like a peasant?
Well, I mean, if you look at Lady Chessia, she is like an angel. She is dressed in this gothic Victorian gown with all these like magical effects on it.
Cool. But I am hoping that you can help. I hope against hope that you can tell me. Some of your merchants came by here to discuss. It sounds like they met with Senator Turex, I'm assuming, but they met with him here. And I was hoping you or any of your staff might have known which way that caravan went afterwards. I'm trying to get evidence for a crime and find out where they went.
Indeed. I recall, with perfect memory, exactly the moment you speak of. She says that Senator Turex had come here to purchase the services of some of her scions.
Really? That's concerning.
And while he was here, he did meet with some merchant caravan people. One of them seemed to be a more important person with a Balakan accent. She did overhear that much.
I'm imagining a Balkan accent is like Italian, because Roman.
Yeah. Arrivederci.
Yeah.
Bella.
So, but did you overhear anything? Can you recall about where they were headed to next?
Well, after selling their wares, they would probably be returning to Balak. Sort of a round trip. However, I did not...
Straight here and then to Balak, okay.
I did not speak to them personally, so I couldn't tell you for sure.
Well, while I have you here, would it be possible to know why Senator Turex was requesting the services of your scions?
I do not question what another senator needs the services for. Generally, they are discreet. My agents are typically hired for investigative purposes. Many of my trained agents operate throughout the city. Many work with the Templars, figuring out crimes. They can use their psionic abilities to touch objects on a crime scene and find out things about the criminal who possessed the item.
Or helping them commit them. And I put a little bit of menace in my tone here.
generally,
That's not.
the School of Thought would not contribute to any crime within the city. We are a lawful organization, and surely senators like Senator Turax would have discretion with what they hire my people to do. They would not want to bring dishonor on the School of Thought. The reputation of the school is very important, and so I
So
wouldn't
what you're saying,
I wouldn't expect they'd be up to too much mischief. She says.
your agents have some code of honor that they would not be up to the mischief. You're saying.
Yes, they're likely for information gathering purposes. They could be for espionage, perhaps.
Yeah. That much is certain. Thank you. I appreciate your candor. At this point, I must fly. And I need to go as fast as I possibly can towards Balak.
Yep.
So I'm going to go ahead and just actually like take off and fly. And once I get, you said the sky is turning dark red, like the sun is setting.
Yeah, it was
Um,
getting to be nighttime eventually.
I'm going to fly to Ringsite and not Grimorn, Mork, who's here, and let him know where I'm going. If they'd like to join me, they are invited. But I am hoping to track down and catch up with the Wavira caravan that attacked my ranch just yesterday. The best knowledge I can find is says that they're headed back to Balak, and so that is what I'm doing. I am trying to catch them on the road to Balak right now.
Yeah, I'll come. I'm curious about how this is going.
All right.
Anything to help a friend.
I clasp you on the shoulder, and both of you actually, and I'll say, you have my thanks.
Okay. So, you travel as quickly as you can, and you will eventually catch up with the merchant caravan that's flying the flag of House Wavir on the road. There are other merchant caravans you pass. They don't have the heraldry, but one in particular does.
Okay, so I'm going to. Okay, is it still the same night or is it the next night?
It'll be the same night. So
Same night. Okay,
you
great.
travel through the night, and it'll probably be on towards the morning, but still dark.
Okay, so like force march, fly fast, get there.
All right.
Okay.
So you're looking for the silver Josel, which is like a little velociraptor-looking thing, on a field of blue. That's the emblem of House Wavir.
Here, flag.
Jazhal. Josal. Josal.
A-Z-H-O-H-A-L.
A-L. Josal. Josal. That's hard to say. ZH are not letters that typically go together. It probably flows
On a
together
field
like an
of-
S, like a Josel.
Silver Joseph on a field of blue, you said?
Yeah, on a blue field.
Okay. I think what I'd like to do is investigate the caravan while they move invisibly, and if you can do so, you're invited to join me. But otherwise, I'll keep you in my thoughts telepathically, and we will. If I'm detected, then give me my big guns.
I mean,
Unless
your sneak is like probably at least 25, so I don't believe they're going to spot you as you approach.
Okay, so I need to investigate, search through all their things, looking for this poison.
Okay.
I've got some history with poisoning, and at least, I've been learning about it. I don't quite have the poison your feet yet, but I've been training some in it. I have like how many days, like 100 days or something like that, set into poisoner on the training track from Grit and Glory and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully that can help me sense out maybe some poisons. But I'm gonna be going up to everybody's bag, especially in the Caravan Masters, in the core of the caravan, and trying to find that out. So I'm gonna just start rolling some dice, and you let me know. So at 18 plus 16,
Investigate? All right.
investigate, yeah.
So you get on board the wagon, and you move through the shadowy wagon. It doesn't have any open windows. You can see in the dark, though. And you find that there are a bunch of containers, big crates that might contain cargo that they're transporting, and they're all sealed with hammer and nail. There's some barrels. They're sealed up with like leather straps, and they're holding the lids closed. You hear sloshing. It might be water in those barrels. There's
I would assume it's water.
There's an ornate chest which you believe probably belongs to the caravan master. It's locked, more ornate than the other stuff around.
That's getting opened.
All right, pick that lock.
Pick the lock. It's gonna be a tool use. So looks like minimum roll is a 28.
All right. So the tumblers of the lock click, 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 and it pops open. However, surprisingly, there's almost nothing in here.
Okay. I could pickpocket the actual caravan master. That's a little more challenging.
So there are drivers. There are two drivers sitting on the front of the wagon driving the Kenks. And inside the wagon with all the cargo, there's that chest and there's the bags that belong to the two drivers. So the chest belonged to the caravan master and it's empty. The bags of the two drivers have some belongings
Check
in
those
them.
as well. You want another roll?
No, that's part of the investigate. So you find them. They weren't hidden. They weren't locked. They contain food, enough food for a pretty long trip. There's a map, crude, but it covers the roads between here and Balak pretty well. Do you wish to steal any of the food or the map?
Nope.
All right. So, personal belongings of drivers. You do find that in the personal belongings of the drivers there are bottles of poison down in the bottom of the bags. There's a number of bottles and they're labeled. One of them has deadly nightshade on the label and another one has rotting poison on the label, and so it just seems like several different poisons.
Okay. That's gonna probably take care of it for me. There's actually one more. I do still want to go ahead and check the pockets of the caravan master, because I'm kind of shocked that it wouldn't be the master. I would think it would be him, not the drivers. But I'm gonna go ahead and check the pockets of.
Okay, that's the thing. So his chest is empty because he's not here. He's still back in tier.
What?
So it seems the situation is the caravan arrived, the caravan master sold off his wares, got new wares onto his caravan, sent his caravan on its way. He met with Senator Torax and did not leave Tyr because he's not here. So he's still going to be back in town.
Okay, well, that's useful.
But he sent his agents back, and his agents do have the poison that was used on your farm.
Okay, so at this point, what I need to do is, can we use Grimorn as like an official title for his Templarness? Because, you know, as a police officer, he had the right to search and seizure. Taro, if you
No,
wanna-
no. He doesn't have any of that. He is the high priest. He's not actually a lawman.
Oh, I thought Templars were.
The
No, the
Templars,
Templars, they just burn people. for-
they're now zealots.
religion.
He's converted them, but they're like he doesn't have their powers, but they have some of his because he's given them fire weapons.
Do any of us have an official letter of marque from, King Tithian or the Council?
Authority.
I mean, authority.
Saul is technically. Wait, Saul's a legitimate noble now, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's an official noble.
He's a noble.
I mean, I kind of am too, but
He's not here though. He is disembarked from the airship and he's gone home to sleep with his wife. He's been away for quite a while. He's got to make up for lost time.
I was hoping I could give one of these two guys a speaking part, but
Right.
I don't know. I was trying to.
The only thing I want to do is go shopping. I don't know how that fits in with your thing, other than just kind of retroactively doing stuff
Oh, okay.
throughout the day, while you're going to bars and things.
Okay.
Since we're in
Well,
downtime, a lot of this stuff can overlap and happen at non-specific times. So you tag along on this little mission, and then you go back to town and do whatever you have to do. The shopping stuff can happen
Well,
pretty
here's
much
what
any time.
I'm going to communicate with you telepathically. Like, I am inside the main caravan master's wagon, and I found bags with bottles of poison in them. This is what we need. I could probably take it out myself, but what I want is to bring these men in. So how can we do that? Do we stop at the caravan? I'm saying this telepathically, by the way. With you guys. Do
Are
we
you
get in front of
expecting
the...
us to physically apprehend them? Do I need to tangle them, or what?
Well,
Well-
I think what we would need to do is...
There's 2 caravan drivers, but then they also have caravan guards. There's probably at least 10 guards scattered around surrounding the caravan. They're riding. What's that other thing? Not a kank, but the riding lizard thing. Crodlu. They're on Crodlu, and they've got their lances in case they need to fight off monsters or whatever. And so if you try to take the caravan drivers, they're going to consider you raiders and fight back.
Well, what I'm saying is maybe what we should do is get in front of the caravan and just stand on the road,
All right,
like
you're gonna
overtake them,
block the road.
and then say halt, and say that we are acting as officials of Tyr, and that we need to bring you two in for questioning. To turn the caravan around and head back to Tyr.
All right. Are you there with your whole airship?
Yeah, that's up to you guys. I don't know how we were able to overtake them because I would have flown as a bat, doing this at night.
Chris isn't
What?
here to speak, but he as the pilot of the airship could be, flying us all out there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's all right. So that's what you did. You flew there. Grimorn is piloting, even though he's very sleepy, so he's not very talkative. But he flies the ship and he brings you here. Parking the ship in front of the caravan, blocking the road, is pretty intimidating. It's got a lot of firepower. Your crew can aim their ballista at the caravan. The caravan guards, they're not paid enough for this shit. So I'm gonna roll morale. I rolled a 1 on the morale check. Imagine that. Alright, so the caravan drivers, they're going to say, this cargo belongs to House Wavir of Balak, and if you touch it, heads will roll. Androponus of Balak will not stand for his iron shipment being stolen. But if you are here to arrest us, we will not fight you. We are merely traders, and we will return to Tyr and face your accusations then.
Okay, so I need to be with them as they go into their. Well, no, they don't get to go back into their wagon. they need to be taken into custody, and we can turn the wagon around. Um,
Probably somebody on the airship can pilot it. I mean, it's
yeah,
just
I
a matter.
can too, but yeah,
Just a matter of wagoneering a little bit.
yeah, I have land vehicles, but it's up to yeah, whatever. So we're gonna bring everybody back. Um,
All right.
yeah.
You bring the poisoners back to Tyr for justice. Are you going to turn them into the Templars? Or are you going to interrogate them personally?
I'd like to interrogate them personally.
All right.
Now, there's this ability that I have now that I don't fully. It might be useful in this situation. Was it D20 D&D Beyond? I don't have a PHP anymore, but it's this Psi Knife, the last Psi Knife ability. Where I use my Psi Knife and goes directly into the brain. It's a stunning technique.
Rend Mind.
Yeah.
17th level Soul Knife feature. You can sweep your Psychic Blade directly through a creature's mind. When you use your Psychic Blades to deal sneak attack damage to a creature, you can force that target to make a Wisdom saving throw. DC 8 plus 6 plus, what's your Dex modifier? 5?
Yeah.
DC 19. If the save fails, the target is stunned for a minute.
I don't need to use that right away. I'm trying to pull up my character. I can't find my character. There it is, characters.
A 1 minute
Anyway,
stun
you
is
know what?
hardcore.
You playing D&D?
It's like
Are you playing D&D?
10 turns if they fail their saves a lot.
Ah.
Hey, sorry.
Oh, my mic. I thought my headset's weird. It has a button on it that's supposed to mute the mic, and I pressed it, but like it's bugged. Sometimes it doesn't work. My bad.
No, it's all
Inconsistent
good.
button.
She sounds cute. That's great. Anyway, though, I will ask them who their caravan master is. I want the name of the caravan master. I want to know where they got the poison from. And I will go in circle to these questions until the questions start to make sense. And I will keep these questions going. Who they are, their names, who paid them, where they got this from, why did they do it. And I'll be an inch from their face.
Roll an Intimidate, please.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
How
Can I get,
intimidating can you be?
Can I find some advantage for that?
Well,
by
I
using
mean,
my,
how threatening are you? Do you have all your weapons drawn at their neck like you're about to kill them?
Well, in particular, I'd like to have my Psi Knife at their brain. And,
Well, I mean,
I
if you if you stun, there are two of them. You could stun one of them for a minute, and the other one would think something really bad happened to him.
yeah, so, that's going to be they can be racked in pain, and I'll come back to him later. So, can I maybe get a reroll?
All right.
Not 20 on that one.
All right, good. So, you intimidate the wagon driver, and he's going to eventually crack. And he says, "Oh, don't kill me! I didn't do nothing. I'm just a driver. I just carry the belongings. Me master, he left some of his things with me when it didn't prove to be super effective. Me master, he goes by the name Gaubor, the assassin of Balak. He didn't say what he was hired for, but he had to infiltrate Tyr, and he came with us."
Not best, maybe. Feels like they're giving the game away.
I love it.
All right. So this Galbor the
he was
assassin.
So Galbor the assassin was never actually a caravan master. He was just
He was in
posing as
disguise. Yes.
to get into Tyr.
And once in Tyr, he met with Senator Turax in secret and acquired 2 psionicysts.
Okay.
So now you know that there's a Balakan assassin in Tyr, and he has 2 scions that are able to use their abilities to find
Support
people and support his activities, so he'll know where to go and what to do his job. And they're operating somewhere in Tyr, but they've disappeared into the city, and they're trying to be low-key.
At this point, I almost want to take the caravan drivers, take the bags, put them on the airship, leave the iron with the guards and to their own devices, and beeline for Tyr at top speed, flank speed on the airship.
All right. Yeah, there are several people on your ship that are just, they're like the boarding party, and they're just there. Like, they don't do a whole lot on the ship other than be there as fighters that you can have do stuff like that. So you put them on guard duty and go off about your mission, your more important mission at high speed.
Yeah, I mean, actually, if we could pick up maybe we can pick up the whole wagon on the airship. I don't know.
No. It's loaded down with a lot of heavy trade goods. A lot of it's metal. Like, generally, Tyr being like the main iron mine producer and exporter, it's going to have like a lot of heavily laden caravans leaving Tyr. And this one is no exception. They've got some heavy metal in there.
Okay. Well,
And also a wagon's just awkward, so there's no way to get it into the
I'm not
airship.
gonna-
Maybe ropes and grappling hooks, but it would be swinging around wildly under your airship. It would be weird.
yeah, it'd be weird. No,
And I don't think the Kanks would. I don't think the Kanks would like it.
Yeah, no.
Just dangling
let's just
from
go.
the wagon.
Hopefully we get there by sunrise.
All right. Yeah. Well, it was almost sunrise when you captured these people and began the interrogation. So by the time you get back to Tyr, it'll probably be almost noon.
Okay.
You know, I can just detect thoughts they have ratings, yes?
Yes, please go for it.
I mean, I would like to know.
Oh no, this. I mean, I'm not controlling this. This is you're here. You're part of this.
I gotta be honest, I mostly just am aware someone poisoned your cow, and you want to find out who, and you guys know something that besides that, there's nothing.
The plot thickens because it's not just his cows, it's a deadly assassin from Balak who has infiltrated Tyr. He started
For my family.
at Orin's farm. Killing the Kanks might have been a message.
Yeah.
Alright, who is the most obviously shady person here?
Oh, what, out of the 2, these are just hired hands and they don't know much.
Right, let me make this simple. I can either dig into your brains for the answer, or you can simply tell me.
Yeah, well, okay. So, either way, you do not acquire extra information.
Okay. We're gonna make sure that they testify.
They were already, like, badly broken. I rolled really poorly on their morale check after they were very severely intimidated. So, they spilled the beans pretty hard. And even if you scan their brain, you're not going to acquire a whole lot of extra detail there.
Alright, let's give the new piece of candy for their trouble.
Gosh. Careful, our jelly baby.
A little bit of good cop, bad cop. I get it. It's like, I've raped your mind. Have a candy.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I love it.
And
Okay.
it's not rape, it's more molestation.
Yeah. 'Cause, 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 Okay. So you can drop me off. You know, I'll fly down.
All right. So you return to Tyr. The whole party returns to Tyr.
Actually, maybe I can grab a couple of hours if it's of shut-eye in the meantime, so I'm not totally exhausted by the time I get to my family.
Yep.
We're on the airship.
Yeah, it probably takes at least an hour or two to fly where you were at.
Good.
Enough time for a short rest, at least.
Okay, so I get back to Tyr. I jump off early and go visit my ranch. Is my family okay?
Yes, nothing has happened.
Good. I want all guards on alert. I want you to shutter your doors, shutter your windows, and keep the kinks as protected as possible for the next day or two. There's an assassin from Balak here. He's who poisoned the kinks, and I fear he may be coming for you. Mother, father.
All right. Your family seems disturbed by this news and worried, but they know you're going to take care of them, so they're going to increase the defenses. Your guards and your farm hands, they're all going to increase their vigilance, and they're going to post up a watch around the compound. You've got walls too. The walls provide a certain amount of defense.
All right. And from that, now I contact you again, ringside. It's my family's okay, but we know that there's still an assassin here who has his own scions to help him. Where can we go to find him next? Do you have any powers that can help with this? Because otherwise I'm going straight to Senator Turax's manor and starting to make a scene.
Wait, ask the question one more time.
Do you have any powers that can help us find this assassin in Tyr? If you don't have any powers that can help, I'm going to go pretty much waltzing right up to the doorstep of Senator Turax and making a scene until I find out where this guy is.
How legendary is this assassin?
Well, they said he's the assassin of Balak, so whatever the best Balak can afford.
Legend Lord is... Where the frick is this guy?
All right. Let's see.
I mean, we have his name. We have the name was hold on, where is it again? Galbar. The assassin
Galbor.
of Galbar.
How many ceramic pieces is in a silver piece?
10, right?
Yeah.
Wait, then what's a ceramic 10 piece?
No. So there's a ceramic 10 piece. You break that into 10 little ceramic pieces. So those are technically like the same coin. It's just it breaks up into 10 little parts. Under that there's the lead bead. That's even smaller, but we usually ignore that one. So you got the ceramic piece, then you have the 10 piece, which is just an intact one. But there. And then the silver piece, it's still like, value-wise, it's still times 10, and then gold is times 100. So it's like the same value, the ceramic 10 piece and the silver coin. But the ceramic 10 piece is like bigger, weightier. You wouldn't want to carry a lot of them. So like the silver coin is much smaller and lighter.
10 piece weighs 10 times as much as a silver. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean they're technically about the same in the mechanics, but they're supposed to be. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So does legend lore yield any results for Ringside?
The Shadow of Galbor. As you intone the ancient words of legend lore, focusing on the name Galbor, the Balak assassin, your mind is swept across the scorched dunes of Athos to the marble-clad streets of Balak, where whispers weave a tale both feared and revered. The verse of the Silent Fang. In the city of olives where the dictator's gaze pierces stone, a shadow moves unseen, its name a shiver in the bone. Galbor the Silent Fang, born of dust and bitter strife, carves destiny with a blade that drinks both blood and life. From the alleys of the poor, where silt and hunger reign, a child of cunning rose, unmarked by noble chain. No Templar's oath, no merchant's gold could bind this fleeting wraith, for Galbor's heart beats only for the kill, the shadowed faith. In the year of desert's fury, beneath a crimson sky, a consul fell, his throat unvoiced, no witness to descry. The Senate wept, the Templars hunted, yet none could seize the shade, for Galbor danced with starlight where even scions fade. They say the Fang's first kill was marked by a scorpion sting, a dagger black as obsidian, a gift from a darker king, Nibene perhaps. Some whisper Zahir's venom flows within that blade's cruel edge, others claim the dunes themselves blessed Galbor's silent pledge. In the Agora, tales are spun of nobles lost to night, of guards who saw but sands and air before the final sight. Yet none can name the face behind the cloak of ash and dread, for Galbor lives as legend does, half living, half long dead. Seek the Fang in Balak's heart, where olive shadows fall, but beware the price of seeking, for death may claim the call. The Silent Fang is watching with eyes that pierce the soul, and only those who walk with death may see the tale made whole. I'll put that in the chat. That's long.
That's awesome.
Jesus Christ, I'm trying to appreciate the poetry and all. Remember.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright. Here's that. Well, that's going to take some interpretation, huh? Legend lore is kind of tricky.
There isn't far that much interpretation. It's kind of just a matter of, well, it sounds like you knew nobody, and then you became really good at murdering to some person's death and decided that you would.
I mean, it's kind of indicating that he's actually some form of undead wraith here. Unless it's metaphor. Half living, half long dead.
Well, a legend does that.
And he's got himself an enchanted weapon that was given to him by a sorcerer king as a reward for a job well done. So obviously he's an assassin that's killed some high
They didn't
high-ranking
mention
targets.
Wraith and undead twice, so maybe he is undead. I don't know.
Danced with starlight where even scions fade indicates that he can't be scryed easily. He's probably got himself an amulet that protects him from directly tracing his location using psionics.
We could go find out who the two. I could find out who the two agents of the School of Thought were, and maybe scry them. If she'll give us that information, which is kind of a big if, but
yeah, she would be able to track down her own agents. They probably all have sending stones.
Well, after all, if it's all above board and they're not trying to kill people, even though they are working with an assassin, then it should be no problem for us to know who they are and to help us find their agents. Because after all, they're only there for information gathering purposes, right?
Yeah, they're probably unwilling to do anything too criminal for a person that's just hiring them for a day.
This is the things I would say to Chessia, to Lady Chessia.
Alright, so you go to Lady Chessia.
If she was unwilling to give information.
So when a client purchases the services of her people, it would be bad business to reveal too much. She could certainly get in contact with them, but
But a name of who was hired?
well, you have his name, Galbor the Assassin.
No, the names of your agents who were hired.
Oh. Well, she could just tell you their names. She knows who they are.
Okay, well, she gives those willingly. That's wonderful.
Okay.
Those names could be given to Ringsight, possibly, and maybe he could find.
So, do you make it clear to her that you're trying to do some sort of law thing?
Oh, I made that clear the first time. Yeah.
When you're trying to catch criminal? She's going to ask if you've gotten the Templars involved.
As much as we possibly can. I mean, I spoke with Grimorn, but so again, I must have gotten the wrong impression from last time. I thought Grimorn was the head of the Fire Temple, and the Fire Temple had become like a wing of the Templar who act as police in Tyr.
Okay,
I was
so
thinking that-
so the Templars, as a faction, they used to have a lot of power that they were given from Kalik, and
Right.
Grimorn has made a deal with them where he's like, the Lord of Flame has power, and you guys lost your power, so he's convincing them to worship the Lord of Flame, and he's offering them equipment, fire enchanted, to empower them in the service of law and order. So he's made a military pact, and in doing so,
police force of Tyr.
in doing so, the existing police force has become more religious and fire-based, and the way they punish people is branding thieves and burning killers. So, they're not
Yeah.
they're not directly connected, but since many of them are of that religion, that does give Grimorn a lot of influence. He is like their pope, but still the pope doesn't directly command the police force. They just happen to be Catholics, right?
Got it. Okay. Well, okay. So that means that the leader of the Templars in Tyr would be a different counselor,
Yes.
right? And whoever that is, that's someone we'll need to have talked to and let know what's going on. If you have that information already, I'll go ahead and write it down, but otherwise we can get it later.
Okay. I think there's two options, right? So if you attend one of the bi-weekly council meetings, you could talk to High Templar Timor, who is like the #1 Templar. But that's only if you want to go directly to the top. You could instead go to Zalkor, who is the captain of the guard of Tyr. So he is like a lower ranking, more on the ground guy. He's like not the high noble of the Templars. He is like the when the rubber meets the road Templar, who would be more willing to deal with these sort of street level things.
So High Templar Timor is more like the political head of the police force, whereas Zalkor is more like, the actual, person
Yeah.
who controls all the...
Zalkor would be sort of your Commissioner Gordon in Gotham City.
Yeah. I was thinking about exactly that kind of thing. All right. Then Zalkor is the person we need to talk to.
Alright, so you're going to go to the captain of the guard. You inform the captain of the guard that there's an assassin, right?
Yeah.
A Balakan assassin, a spy. Captain Zalkor doesn't believe you. What evidence have you got of this?
The bags, and I bring him the carriage drivers who will testify, at least in my presence. And I hand them over.
Oh my
To his custody.
god. I just rolled double nat 20s on those caravan guys. That's crazy.
For not wanting to give up their information.
They get real tight-lipped. That's crazy. So they're not willing to talk to the captain of the guard of Tyr for some reason. They got real tight-lipped. But you do have their belongings, and they did have the poison, and you inform the captain about your poisoned kanks, and so he nods, and is that
I've already battened down the defenses of the ranch.
Yeah.
And hopefully my family will not be assassinated tonight. But someone, I predict, is going to die, and I'm hoping it is not any of you or any of the counselors. But I'm predicting it's my family that is the target, because it is Senator Turax who was spoken to. And Senator Turax has already threatened my family. And I say that out loud, even though Senator Turax may have the bankroll of some of these Templars or fields a big army. But I say that out in the open.
Mm. All right. Well, Zolkor is a little shocked that you would say those things openly. He says you should be more cautious how you speak of the lords of Tyr. I know you are famous as one of the heroes of Tyr, or famous adventurer, but still, you speak of senators so brazenly. I would use some caution, sir. So, Senator Turax is very powerful, and he is of one of the oldest families in Tyr.
You know, it's basically like saying that, you know, the Speaker of the House is threatened to murder me or my family. It's not cool to say that. Oh, I'm sure he was just joking. Yeah.
So Zolkor is very interested in catching a Balakan spy, assassin, but
For him.
he's not interested in offending
Noble
Senator Turax. That would be bad politics. But he'll.
It would be bad politics. However,
He's
now
going
you
to give you an official sigil, like a marking of the Templars,
that's very helpful. Thank you. Sir.
and he says, carry this temporary badge. It shows that you are on official duty as it pertains to the capture of this Balakan spy. So, if somebody questions you, show them this and tell them they can ask me, and I'll sort it out. So you now have that this is on official business. But again, I caution you, Senator Turax is almost above the law. You can't you can't bring down Senator Turax.
I'm not
We've met him before, haven't we?
planning to do that necessarily tonight, and I will make sure that this does not come down on your head. I can sense the fear in your mind, and the fear for your men, and I can respect that. I feel some kinship over that and protecting your men under your charge. But
He'll tell you he also is not a fan of politicking. He's had to deal with politicking. High Templar Timor cares more for the politicking than I do. I would rather do the business of being a High Templar, ensuring the law of the land, punishing the wicked who have broken the law of the land. But politicking, I am a crude implement when it comes to politicking, and I can tell you are of the same cloth. So I warn you that when dealing with senators, there are often more cautious ways to deal with a senator. You have to deal with them through politics. You can't
I totally
always
agree.
approach the situation as directly as you seem to be doing by your words.
I totally agree, but I could not in good conscience tell you that there is an assassin in the city without giving you all the information you needed to protect the people and the councilors of the city. So Um, I will go speak to High Templar Timor, and to figure out who might be a target. Um, besides me and my family, but I needed you to be informed about what is going on. And so with that, I take my leave. I bow low, and unless you guys have anything more to say to him, we head out.
All right. I guess you have like a vague description of this dude.
Do we?
Yeah.
Well, maybe Ringside might.
You've acquired a bit of a description, so you can give that to the guards, and they'll be keeping an eye out looking for this spy. That's the most that Zolkor can do for you right now, is to have his guardsmen look for a shady-looking Balakan lurking in the streets of Tyr.
Do you guys want to go talk to High Templar Timor, and I'll go straight to Tyrex's domain?
Before we leave, I say that Senator Trax is no longer under Wizard King, the Sorcerer King. He is not impervious to being brought down to the justice of the law.
All right.
The problem is he's like half the army of Tyr, isn't he?
Yeah, he commands hundreds of troops.
It's like him, and then the other two main houses are the other half of the Tyrian army.
Senator Turax commands 100 spearmen, one of the most formidable armies in Tyr.
Wait, 100?
100 spearmen.
We
gotta
fought
say-
Centurions before.
I gotta say, after all we've been through, that doesn't sound like a very dangerous fighting force.
I know.
That's
Well,
a single unit in a total war game.
your party are all godlike, and so it's a little bit underwhelming. But to a regular man, 100 spearmen is a fearsome fighting force. And you have to consider, in the Dark Sun world, water is scarce and logistics are hard, so the armies tend to be of smaller scale.
What kind of army can Taurus muster?
Taurus has been recruiting fighters, and so he probably has... I forget what the numbers are. It's been months since I looked at them, but I think he probably had close to the same number. Like, he wanted to fill up his keep, and his keep can hold 100, I think.
Also, you guys had that certain not breathing thing you were going to have as miners in the diamond mine thing. I don't remember.
Yeah, Sol created a bunch of automatons that were going to do the mining. They don't need to eat or sleep. Certainly a cost-cutting measure.
Or drink water.
Yep.
Okay. Should we go together to High Templar Timor, or should we go... I mean, generally we don't split the party, but I was trying to involve you guys and make it not the...
I missed bits and pieces. Were we going to High Templar Timor's for?
To try and figure out who the next target for the Balakan assassin might be, besides my family, like my parents, Gerard and Lou Cyrillus.
Were they already assassinated along with the Kinks, or just the Kinks?
Just the kinks so far,
Yeah.
but I put my family on alert. I don't know if there's... Actually, I can put an alarm spell. That's the only spell that I've got that can help defend the place, so I'll put that alarm spell up. And, any other defenses?
Can any spellcaster basically just put, like, trap spells around? Like, can Grimorn put fireball traps somewhere?
There's a particular spell called, like, wards. I think it's, like, 4th level. Could be wrong on that. But, yeah, if you can cast the spell, you can put magical traps wherever.
Hey, Ninja.
Yeah.
How are those spooky ghosts hanging out in that crypt?
How are they doing it? Are you asking, like,
How are they doing it?
how are they doing? All right. They are the same as they've ever been for thousands of years.
Where's my pterodactyl?
On the airship. It's alright.
Get those eggs.
What spell were we just talking about a moment ago?
Sorry, I got
Uh,
distracted.
There's a couple of different ward spells,
Ward. All right.
symbols, contingency.
Glyph of Warding. Glyph of Warding is 3rd level. All right. So yeah, once you get to like 5th level as a wizard, you'd be able to cast the Glyph of Warding spell. Hello, kitty. My cat
So
pets.
if anyone crosses the boundary of my ranch, I'm going to have everybody stay inside and instruct them that the alarm is happening, not to enter or leave. And if anyone enters that area, I want the alarm to sound and to go off in my head as well. So
All right.
audible and in my head.
I forgot to ask. Did you take a level as a wizard when you leveled up?
I did.
All right. Cool.
No, that was a while back. I did.
Would
So
it be
you-
possible to set up a spell to activate on like on an alarm spell?
Contingency?
Yeah, the contingency spell can do anything.
But
Like
that's
I don't know, like
higher
top
up.
wall of thorn on top of like if an alarm spell is triggered, the wall of thorn is active or something like that.
I don't know. It's tricky. Contingency is a wizard-only thing, I think. I don't know if a druid would be able to do it. You might be able to, like, craft an item that does the spell and then have the item be triggered by something. Because you could basically make a magic item with any kind of trigger you want. You could say, this magic item is enchanted that when an alarm spell goes off in the proximity of it, it does this. And then the enchantment is like your thorns.
Because
You
the
could have,
contingency is putting it on top onto like I don't know, like a certain thing. Because
I think-
it doesn't say you need contingency for like if you're storing a spell into like a pressure plate or something like that. And if you're using it like a warding rune, then that would be a different thing.
Yeah, a warding rune kind of works like a contingency. Contingency as a spell usually applies to spells that affect yourself. So like when something triggers the contingency, the spell teleports you away, that sort of thing. Usually like, I'm out of hit points, and the wizard vanishes. Poof. But it could be other things, like you get hit with fire and suddenly a fire shield spell is contingency spelled up. Yeah, you could set up defenses that are automatic like that. But again, it's
Here
usually...
It just says, when I'm looking at the guide, it just says the spell traps, you just choose a spell and determine a trigger. The trigger can be like whatever, pressure plate or wire or specific location is activated. And then it says that using a glyph of warding and like contingency are optional things, like those aren't necessary. So that's why I'm wondering like how you like if anybody can set up, or they specifically have to be like wizards and stuff that have those other like glyph of warding or contingency spells that druids and other spellcasters don't have access to.
I mean, I would primarily do it with Glyph of Warding. Excuse me. Sneezing. Glyph of Warding can be used by bards, clerics, and wizards, so it's a widely available spell. Like, only druids don't have it. I feel like that's just because they want druids to be sort of like in the moment, directly affecting the plants. And contingency and Glyph of Warding are sort of like...
They're too big thinky spells.
It's like a separate magic that you're tying off and leaving in place. It doesn't have the sort of like direct connection that druid magic tends to have. And when druid magic does create permanent stuff, it's usually a tree.
So, anything else you guys want to do, or are we going to Senator High Templar Timor?
If there's something else we can do to secure your family's place, then I guess we just go investigate like what else the target might be.
Stationary air elemental outside, and then I'll have him go hide in an oven or something.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so you're trying to find High Templar Timor. The Templars that you encounter say that he is with King Tithian today. So you're going to have to head into the Golden Tower and find out where King Tithian's at.
Okay. We are throwing our political weight around and just marching in and asking directly where High Templar Timor is, or where, if we can speak with King Tithian. Not like with King Tithian, with High Templar Timor immediately.
It seems as if they're in the gardens. So you go into the garden district, the noble
going for a
district.
stroll to have their conversation.
The King's Garden consists of 3 lush, wooded sections of land. One garden lies on each side of the high bureaus. The third encircles the Golden Tower like a small park. And that's the one you have to get to, is the encircling park. So you've got the Golden Tower right here, extending super high up into the air, and you are in a park that's in the innermost, richest part of the noble district, at the ground level of the Golden Tower, surrounded by trees and bushes that are meticulously maintained by groundskeepers. There are a number of lesser druids here working the gardens.
By the way, you said this is a noble district, so Senator Turax lives in this area?
Yeah, his manor is somewhere here.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. Can he see us walking in, like from his doorstep type stuff?
No, it's the park here doesn't have any direct access to the noble housing, like where the manor houses are. Think of this as like a very contained area just for King Tithian, or previously King Kalik. So there's no way
walls
to
around it in a way between.
Yeah, this is a privacy garden. There's no way to look in on it.
Okay. Did we get in?
Yeah, the only way to gain access is through the Barbican Tower. So you go through a gate surrounded by many guards in heavy armor. And they'll follow you in, because you're going to see the king, so then make sure the king is guarded. So you'll find that High Templar Timor and King Tithian are having a meeting in the garden, and they're drinking some tea, and they're sitting at an ornate table, and they're having a discussion when you approach with the guards.
I pick up speed, not enough to give the guards too much pause, but I pick up speed and go up to them and say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but King Tithian, High Templar Timor, I bow low. I must let you know that a Balakan spy, an assassin named
Galbor,
the assassin of Balak,
the Shadow,
is here. The Shadow of Balak is here in Tyr since the day before yesterday. Is it yesterday or the day before yesterday?
Yesterday.
Day before yesterday. Okay, since yesterday.
Yeah, I guess you're in the next day, so it would be the day before yesterday when they first arrived.
He has secured the support. 2 agents from the School of Thought, and he is working with a senator of Tyr, and several of my kinks died yesterday from poison that we found in a Wivir caravan with the same man, this Galbor, who came from Balak.
So you believe you are the target of this assassin, then?
Well, I believe I am one of the targets, but why I'm coming to you and interrupting your meeting is because I need to find out who else could be a target from this assassin. And basically, who else is an enemy? Who else is an enemy? Who else is on bad terms? I'll say it that way. Of Senator Turax.
Okay. Tithian's going to raise an eyebrow at that. So, King Tithian and Senator Turax have often been at odds politically. And they don't like each other very much. So, King Tithian is now suspecting that maybe he's a target if Senator Turax is involved. And he thanks you for bringing this information to him, and he's going to ask you if you will do him a personal favor and make sure to find this spy and find out if he really is here to kill me, King Tithian. And if he is here to kill me on the orders of Senator Turax, I would finally be able to take down Senator Turax for treason. This would be
has a lot to add to this.
This would be a big step. Turax hasn't gone this far before, but if he's hiring a Balakan assassin, that's a big move.
Hang on, I wanna do a thing. So,
Because you know a lot about this.
what do I know about like King Tithian as a person?
King Tithian, beloved by the people. He was the High Templar under Calic. He was one of the main conspirators in the plan to rebel against Calic, to assassinate Calic, and to free Tyr. And as the number one man that was able to orchestrate the assassination of Tyr, the people of Tyr crowned him their king. And so he is now the number one guy. And since he was a former Templar, he commands the Templars, and they were not well liked. The people killed a lot of the Templars in a riot right after Calic was killed. But King Tithian, being loved by the people, was able to sort of say like, no, the Templars they're not the enemy, and they're going to serve Tyr. And so there's been sort of a reformation. And
staying of arms, yes.
And so now King Tithian and his Templars are more well liked by the general people. Although not by the criminals, especially since they started burning people and branding thieves.
A while back there was some concern about how King Tithian was selling off some of the magic items and artifacts in the Royal Vault. That was one of the things that gave us some pause about a year ago.
Well, he put up objects from the vault as prizes in the arena.
Yeah.
I
thought that was a little weird.
To know is what he's like as a person.
However, it's not that suspicious when you consider the importance of the arena, the fact that Calic himself was killed by the champion of the arena. Like the former champion of the arena. Taurus is the champion currently, but previously.
It sounds like Insight's asking for a insight roll against Calic, or not Calic, Tithian.
Okay, do you want to roll an insight? What do you get?
Insight?
Oh, I thought you were doing something just now.
Roll a
No,
dice.
I was helping for what you were trying to say. It sounds like you were trying to insight about King Tithian.
Oh, well, I was hoping I might already know, but okay.
Yeah, I gave you what you would know publicly, just that he's very popular. They say he was childhood friends with Aegis of Astocles.
I don't know who Aegis to practice it. I'm rolling that to do that.
Aegis of Astocles is the main guy. He's Sadira's boyfriend. He was the other main conspirator. He makes the best wine in Tyr, Astocles wine.
Makes sense. Haha, much better.
He's deeply connected to the Veiled Alliance since he's hooked up with Sadira.
I got a nat 20.
So you insight on King Tithian. Like, what are you trying to get from him? Like, do you want to know his emotional state? Do you want to, what are you trying to get with?
Motivations, right?
State, just like, yeah, what kind of person? What motivates him? How does he see the world?
Well,
His goals are for the future.
outwardly he is well liked as a populist, but here it seems like his biggest concern is his own protection. He immediately thought that the assassin is here for him, and he now wants you to investigate and find the assassin to prevent the assassin from killing him. He's just assuming he's the most important person in town. The assassin must be here for him. Sure, the assassin attacked your farm, but that could have just been, inter-noble conflict, which is common enough.
But also, you remember last session you had gotten into Tithian's or Turax's mind, right?
I know, but I don't know if that's a crime or not.
Oh, going into someone's mind? That's true.
It is.
So maybe you can't share that information of what Turax actually wants to do to King Tithian.
Yeah, nobody likes that when you dig into people's minds without permission. Unless you're an investigator trying to dig out a guilty verdict on a criminal that is suspected of a bad crime, then maybe they'll send in the psychic interrogators to dig it out.
Yeah. A greater crime, yeah.
But just in public, it would be incredibly rude to scan somebody's mind without permission. It'd be like walking up to somebody and French kissing them when you don't even know them. It'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
So he can't really go up to King Tithian right now and say, "Oh, you're right, King Tithian. It's true. I raped his mind, and he said that, yeah, I want to kill King Tithian."
Please stop using that word to describe this process.
I'm sorry.
It's a pretty good metaphor, though. Like, if somebody got into your brain and read your thoughts, it would feel a little like that, I think.
There we go. Okay, so,
It's a big invasion of privacy, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll say this then. Yeah, I'm fairly certain he's coming after you, sir.
All right. Well, you have...
Reinforced his paranoia by being technically accurate.
Well, you have the backing of the king, then, and Timur will go along with it as well. And if you mention that Zalkor is also on the job, then Timur will nod and say, then it's in good hands. He will thank you for informing him hastily, and he'll suggest that you get back out on the streets and find that spy.
On that note, do you happen to have any spy finding artifacts back there?
Spy finding artifacts.
Love it.
No, I'm afraid not. You are a member of the Order, are you not? I'm sure you can manage.
I don't feel like we made much progress with this meeting, which is how most meetings work granted.
Well, it's kind of important.
We accomplished exactly what we had hoped to find, which was who is the next target besides me. And yeah, I guess that does make sense that King Tithian would be the next biggest target, based on what happened last night when you looked into his brain and found out, yeah, he actually has sights on the throne.
I think what I'm gonna do now, actually, when the next night comes around, I'm gonna dream stalk his family members and see if there's anyone who's less terrible than him.
There you go.
Oh, this is great.
Taking advantage of the Dreamstone during the night, you're going to scour the city and find... so who are you going after?
Anyone directly related to King Tithian and involved in our crap, I'm gonna direct.
Oh, you said King Tithian.
Oh, sorry, not King Tithian. I meant the
Turax.
Duke, whatever his name is.
What is Senator Turax's first name?
Turax.
Turax is his first name?
Turax is just his name, but he doesn't have a
Oh, okay, got
Mario,
it.
Mario.
I assume he is. Yeah, it's like it is like Mario. He is the House Turax, and he is Senator Turax, the patriarch of the
Turax.
Turax family. If there are lesser Turaxes, it would be like Turax the Second, Turax the Third.
But we need less Turax. Let's look for that. Look what nice round up.
Well, if you place yourself in the manner of Senator Turax, you could sort of get into the minds of his servants and see the dreams of Senator Turax himself.
I already know what he dreams about.
Yeah, well, Senator Turax, he dreams of being king himself, and his servants, they don't know much either. They're in fear of Turax because he's not a very nice man.
Anything else? Anyone else who's related to him?
Turax isn't close with many people. He doesn't have a big family in his house. Many servants who don't know much of anything. He's unmarried.
Oh, what?
Yeah, there's no
But he has
mention
kids.
no mention of a wife for Senator Turax. No mention of kids either. I'm just assuming he might have some. Probably a bunch of bastards, illegitimate kids.
Does he have a brother?
No. No mention of a brother.
He just has heirs to his
Parent. Freaking animal.
all dead now. He has the whole family fortune.
Turax is notoriously greedy, so he doesn't keep a lot of family members close to mooch off of him. He has servants that he pays, and he's got guards aplenty, but he doesn't surround himself with close confidants.
I don't want his confidants. In fact, the less they like him, the better. I just need someone related to him directly.
I mean, you can get into the dreams of some of his high guards. He's got his personal guards that are nearby.
That is still not help. Let me state my goal. I'll probably know. My goal is that we defeat this guy surreptitiously, and then we replace him with an heir who is dickhead.
Well, that was actually something that I was hoping to do as well. I wrote out before tonight, trying to meet with some of his heirs, and try to, or maybe meet not directly with his heirs, but maybe through other agents and people who aren't directly connected to me, but to find out if they were maybe less interested in having noble versus noble conflict, but rather having another ally instead of another enemy. So that was, I was going to start having, carousing, cavorting around with the other nobles and finding people who I could use as my informants who aren't directly connected with me, right? Not part of my spy network, not part of my family, not anyone directly on my payroll, but who could go ahead and have coffee with these people and find out, maybe have some conversations to see where their minds are and see. I want to build a dossier on all the heirs.
All right.
And find out where they would be.
Let's see here. Investigate Turax heirs. And you want to find, one of them that's a good replacement, right?
Right.
Suitable.
So I'm doing it with people, just basically, there's a word for this. People who are in court and just live in court all day. I can't find the word in my head right now. But courtiers, whatever. Anyway, doing it through those means. Ringside here is doing it through the dream world and trying to see if we can figure out what the best course of action is.
So Turax doesn't live with any of his heirs, and since they're out in the city and stuff, it will take some on-the-ground investigation to track down his various bastards. Again, like Game of Thrones, it's sort of like Robert Baratheon, how he had many heirs, but none of them was like a noble that was in the castle with him. He had another wife.
But could I use my network of vigilantes to make this? Actually, come to think of it, how is my network of vigilantes?
Yeah, let's see here. I made a note. The cult of the winged elephant grows in size and tier. You invested 30 gold, which has been paying for the basic expenses of your cult and the recruitment of new members. There is now enough belief in the winged elephant in tier to sort of generate the required egregore as part of the rebuilding of a god. So that's like one of those check marks checked off. The wind artifact collection, you've got the sword, the flying carpet, the bottle of wind, and an airship. And the dreamstone, while not technically a wind artifact, could be useful. So...
And there's every other random freaking artifact I've collected in this freaking pit.
Okay. Some of your new recruits are travelers who are worldly, and they've heard rumors, and they've been talking about the winged elephant and the dead gods. And so a rumor comes to your ears of the Blue Shrine. I might have mentioned it to you once before, but the Blue Shrine is said to be the last resting place of a fraction of one of the dead gods. And as a necessary requirement of rebuilding a dead god, you need that god spark, the sort of like the bones of the god, or like in the Elder Scrolls, like the Heart of Lorcan, you know, like the last core element of a dead god that still contains a piece of his power. So now you at least know generally where to go. It's near the Deadlands, far to the south. If you could get to the Blue Shrine and obtain the God Spark, that would be another check mark in your goal of resurrecting the winged elephant.
Alright, good.
I made a note that during the downtime you're going to complete construction on New Authent, restoration of the temple of the winged elephant, and all of that. That was going to take, I don't know, many months, right? So I just have a note here that months later that'll be completed. And I also made a note that when you acquire all of the elements, you will have to complete the ritual in the plane of the air. So you're going to need to be able to go into the elemental plane of the air.
Note again.
And a piece of lore that you will get is it's said that the elemental lords defeated the old gods. So when you get into the plane of the air with the God Spark and the remnants of the winged elephant, you may not be completely welcome. So you may have to contend with some very powerful, very angry air elemental lord.
Well, we'll save that problem for later. Currently, I want to see how my expanded network is doing in the task that I'm currently giving.
They are doing that task. They're doing good. They're spreading the good word and being helpful.
I mentioned the task is, hey, we need some information on potential areas of history.
Oh, that task. Well, I mean, you probably only just started. So you basically just had that conversation. So they have not had any time to distribute into the city and gather information. But if you want to pass that information along to your network, then I'll say that your network is investigating.
Okay, I do want to know actually, is the vigilantism working?
It's helpful. It's stopping minor crimes and stuff.
While these investigations are going on, I can have my armor being enchanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me go turn something off.
What did I say? It was going to take like 30 days or something?
Oh, 30?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. I forget. 38 days. Sorry.
Okay.
A little more than that.
Are we gonna be cutting it, ending pretty soon here?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to do too much without Creus being here. It's unfortunate that he wasn't able to make it. He's probably still, moving and setting up, so it's understandable.
We got a lot done tonight. For me, I really appreciate it. I think that I wrote a lot down here.
I was happy you got all the time in.
Yeah. Like I said at the start, this was open-ended, so it was pretty much whoever wanted to do some stuff could do some stuff, and I didn't have much of a plan. I tried to do sort of general research, so I would have the names of people ready and some background about how the factions are associated, and I had my ideas for the assassin and that whole thing. So it's good that you were able to figure a lot of that out and get that started, because that's an important plot point.
Yeah, a lot of plot happened tonight. I thought it was fantastic.
Like the direct attack from Balak was repelled, and so now they're sending in assassins. That could be trouble. And it gets directly into the politics of Senator Turax and King Tithian being rivals. Politics at the very top. And you are throwing in with Tithian, and Turax already doesn't like you, and he's going to like you less if he finds out you're working with Tithian. I mean, he already kind of knows that the heroes of Tyr work with Tithian. That's sort of just generally known. But in this specific case, that if he thinks you're trying to thwart his bid for power, he's really not going to like you.
Yeah. Well, he started it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I forget what the original. What did he want originally? He was threatening you.
Yeah, I have written down here.
About something. Was it just that you're like growing in wealth and power, and he was just like sort of like strong arming you? I forget.
Yeah, it was at a like a feast, and this was right before we went to the whole Gith thing, I think. But he said that you really need to pick a side between Turax, Minther, and Tirthani. Because, if you're not with me, you're kind of an enemy. And you don't want me as an enemy.
Ah, right.
Specifically, it was like, oh, it would be a terrible thing if some bandits were attacking your farm or something. I don't know.
He said stuff like that, and I'm like, what? I started making a scene right then.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
so I was
not delicate. Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of remember. So he was talking about bandits being a threat to the local farms, and how his spearmen are sort of protecting the areas around, and if you're on his good side, his spearmen will protect your farm. But if you're on his bad side, then some bad things could happen to your farm. And then bad things happen to your farm. Because you haven't sided with Senator Turax in any public way, and so this could be that threat that he's showing that he can get at you.
He was a bit more direct than that. He was a bit more aggressive than that framing, that particular word choice.
Sure.
But it was, yeah.
Well, yeah, he is pretty aggressive. He's a cranky, privileged nobleman who has been offended by the loss of all of his slaves, and he really wants to get back to the old times when he was a high lord of old Tyr, and so.
Correct me on that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's exactly the way Tirthani feels as well, because he's the oldest and most conservative. By that I mean he likes the old ways. He likes the way when we have the slavery and the gladiator pits and everything else.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Senator Vildine Terthani, a younger senator from a very old noble family of Tyr. Not the most wealthy or powerful, but they have great influence with lesser nobles. The Terthani estates are actually kind of adjacent to yours, and they extend towards the iron mine. And they're also very well protected. He can field the same, about 100 spearmen. And he is legendary for his greed. He doesn't pay his people very well. Also, he keeps a lot of tenant farmers. Like the slaves were freed, but then people like Terthani basically said, like, you can rent land here, and then he charges them a lot, and so they owe him. And so it becomes a situation where they're basically still slaves, even though they're technically free. And really, if he had his way, it would be straight up slavery again.
Got it. Okay, I wrote that down.
So he's not a nice guy. The Trithanis are not nice. The Turaxes are not nice.
He's all merchant guy. So
Minther is a evil and ruthless businessman. Like, he basically had the adventurers blow up his rivals so that he could buy out their land on the cheap. It was done too dramatically, though. The heroes literally blew up his entire farm, all of his grain silos, killed all of his people. It was like overkill, and so it caused him a lot of trouble. So actually, Senator Minther does not like the party because now, like, the surviving members of the Freydlov farm are now, like, in this blood feud against him and constantly trying to sabotage his shit. So he wishes it was a little more, like, stealthy than it was.
I mean, they knew it was us?
but they knew that it was bankrolled by Travalas Minther, or
It's
That blew up the
suspected.
farm?
It's strongly suspected.
Okay.
And also, he doesn't like the Templars becoming close to the Fire Temple. Some of the senators are not too keen on that.
okay.
Yeah, all this political stuff is one of the things I spent the most prep time on. I've got a big, detailed list of all 27 of the senators now.
There's 27.
27 senators.
I
There's...
thought that was only the three main houses, but I kind of would like that information if you could put it in Discord.
well, I could just list them. I can't give you all this information. So,
Oh,
King
okay, that's fair.
King Tithian, Sadira, Aegis, Rikus, Lady Chesia, Senator Turax, Senator Trevelus Minther, Senator Vildine Terthani, Senator Thaxos of Merchant House Vorden, Lady Diane Sham of Merchant House Sham, Lord Kia of Merchant House McKay, Lady Cassena of Merchant House Salaxa, Lord Ren Hostel of Merchant House Stel, High Templar Timor, Templar Banther, the Minister of the Arena, Templar Borger, the Minister of the Mines, Templar Dark, the Minister of Security, sort of the Spy Master, Lady Beryl Telenikos, the representative of Merchant House Wavir and Balak, Counselor Turloff, Flynn, the Weaponsmith, Rowan, the Tailor, representing Caravan Way, Zalos, the Mole Stonecutter, representing the Brickyards, Master Syntha, representing the Merchant District, Porl, the Half-Giant, representing the Half-Giant, Freeman, Nori from the Fields, representing the Farmers, and then a random tenant farmer representative, and at the very bottom, 27th, Shiverin the Half-Elf from the Warrens, representing the homeless and the poor.
Huh. I didn't get a lot of. I stopped writing down about 4 or 5 names in. But so we have a House Wavir representative who is a noble, like a landed noble, she might be someone we have to talk to.
So in the one district, there's all the merchant houses. So the the representatives of the merchant houses, like the head of each of those merchant houses, they want some say in Tyr. They're like the major trade partners of Tyr, so they want to be on the High Council. They want to be able to hear what King Tithian has to say, and they want to be able to vote on things that affect their business. And so all of the major merchant houses are on the council, except for a few of the really small ones, like Yanto doesn't have a representative.
Well, I was impressed. McKay has one. McKay has reached all the way out. I thought McKay was only based out on the Road of Fire.
House McKay, they're based in Rom, and they're very small. They often serve as middlemen, but they're noted as the traders' traders. So they do a lot of inter-merchant house trade.
Am I thinking of something else? Because I thought that was the dwarves who did all the obsidian mining out in the east.
They're near Rom. They're sort of on the outskirts of Rom's territory.
Okay.
Those dwarves, but they're out on an island. They're real Borderlands sort of stuff. Like the lords of Rom would not get out there often. They do want their shipments of obsidian for obvious reasons, for the the rituals.
But those dwarves were affiliated with House McKay?
Yes, they had really good dealings with what's his name, the dude. He loved dwarves so much that he stayed there with them to live with them, and he was he was a member of. He wasn't a druid. He was like his father was a druid, I think.
Oh, okay. I'm coming back now. Yeah.
And then you have several.
One that had like a mental thing, and then we cured him.
His dad was the lava druid, and he was crazy. And you did.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking. Okay, yeah, that's the one I think I remember.
Yeah, you did improve his mental condition a bunch. Reunited him with his son after many years. His son thought he had died. Or no, he was out there looking for him to verify. And then they were happily reunited. Well, almost happily. Like, he didn't want to leave. He had decided he wanted to stay there, and the son was kind of pissed off about it. It's like, I came all the way out here to save you, and you just stuck around because you wanted to hang out by a fucking volcano? What the fuck?
I do need to go to sleep now.
Yeah, it's after midnight.
This is amazing.
Hey guys.
Good times. Good night, guys.
Ending the stream. Thanks for watching out there in
Can't wait to
Twitchland.
see